Well, we're probably in the worst situation humanity's ever been in. People think that we've developed and that we have alleviated poverty and all these things, but it's come at an enormous cost. And that cost is not sustainable. And people are coming to that realization, but maybe they're not coming to that realization fast enough. I have seen great change just in the past 40 years of my life working in conservation, but the last 5 years have been dramatic. I live in Alaska in the United States. It's melting like a popsicle, you know. The bushfires are starting everywhere. The vegetation is changing. The sea ice is now 300 miles from the coast in the summertime. It's a different world than 5–10 years ago. So people can't even imagine the change that's happening there. And then I work on the equator for most of the time, and changes there may be more subtle, but sea rise is happening, beach erosion is happening, temperatures are going up in the ocean, less rainfall, so it's dramatic what's happening. I think that we should have acted 50 years ago. I think that the problem was identified 50 years ago, and if we would have started to really handle that problem that long ago, we would have had a chance to maybe keep the earth from burning up. Right now, if we don't act like now, and we don't dramatically shift the way we use resources, it's going to be a very different world in 20–50 years from now. I mean, it's going to be scary to think about.
Són les contundents paraules del naturalista i explorador de National Geographic, Mike Fay. Ell és un referent d'ecologisme en l'àmbit mundial. Després de recórrer més de 3.200 quilòmetres d'un corredor forestal intacte a Gabon, va aconseguir la protecció d'una part molt important del territori. Ara fa feina en la conservació de les aigües del país.
And it's been a process for all those years of bringing to a country that basically had no idea about conservation. They're a poor African country that's trying to develop. So elephants and wildlife and forests are just things to be exploited, right? So over the past 20 years, I would say that we've been successful in making people conscious about you know, the management of resources and exploiting those resources, and the importance of creating protected areas and creating protection for species, managing fish, managing wildlife. So we've been successful in setting up a large terrestrial park, national park system, and just in the last 2 years we've protected 26% of the EEZ of Gabon in 20 marine parks and reserves.
Un exemple de conservació, diu, aplicable i beneficiós per a qualsevol indret del món.
Yeah, and if you can be successful in a place like Gabon, as we've been in the last 20 years, I totally believe that every nation on earth cannot just kind of like make it happen, but they will benefit from conservation.